let's talk about Cheetahmen. Not Chester Cheetah, but Cheetahmen. Ever heard of them? If you have, then most likely you probably enjoy playing video games and learned about a Nintendo game called Action 52 that had the Cheetahmen as the focal point of the 50-second game on that Nintendo cartridge. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Bundled with the Action 52 cartridge for your Nintendo Entertainment System was a Cheetahmen comic, and we're going to get to that. But right now, what I want to do is kind of lay some groundwork, give you an idea of what in the world is Action 52. Sit back and relax for the next few minutes, and I'll kind of regale you with the tale of Action 52. Just to kind of give you an idea of where I was in 1991 when this game released, I'd had my Nintendo Entertainment System for about 3 years at that point. So I got it for my birthday, 10th birthday, in 1988. First game I ever bought for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Went to a little department store back then. It was called Woolworths. I can remember they didn't have much of a selection of games, but I picked up Mega Man 2. It was the first game I ever actually bought for the Nintendo Entertainment System. But I rented a ton. Like, we had a gas station probably about, 5 miles down the road from us, and we would go to the gas station and rent Nintendo games from there, and I would play those many times. But in late 91, early 92, I made the leap to the Sega Genesis. The first time I'd ever seen a Sega Genesis was at my friend's house. He was playing Altered Beast and a couple other titles that he had gotten for it, and I was amazed at the 16-bit quality compared to the Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh my goodness. So when this game and this comic get released, I've kind of moved on from the Nintendo. Granted, I still knew about it. I was probably getting Nintendo Power at the time, but I had moved on. So Action 52, I think at the time I may have heard of multi-carts, which is, imagine a Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge with more games than one on them. So that's the concept of a multi-cart. But I'd never recall hearing anything about Action 52. Maybe at some point I saw something in a gaming magazine advertising-wise, but really it wasn't until the Angry Video Game Nerd did a full rundown of Cheetahmen and then the Action 52 game was I privy to the horrors that lie in this cartridge. To kind of give you a little bit of a history of Action 52, it was developed and put out by Active Enterprises. I went to a website called tvtropes.org. Sometimes my comics research leads me to tvtropes.org, but there was a nice little write-up over there about Action 52. They talk about the man behind it all, a guy by the name of Vince Perry, Perri, who saw that his kid and his friends were really impressed by this pirate Nintendo cartridge that's either his son had or one of his friends had, and it had like 40 games on it. So that gets the ball rolling in Vince's head, like, I'd like to take this concept, but do it legally. So that's where the seed of this begins. He thinks, okay, I could put more than one game on a cartridge. There are plenty of games out there right now. If he could get a game out on the shelves, people want to buy it, you're getting, the most for your money. It's going to appeal to customers, and he might be able to make a little bit of money off of it. But Vince had some big dreams, but he didn't have the talent to make it a reality. He finally gets everything together, finds some people that'll work on the game, develop the game, and create it. From what I understand, the development team only had 3 months to put 52 games together for this Nintendo cartridge. I don't think Vince understood what it took to create a game, but that's what he was telling them. You've got 3 months, give me 52 games, put them on this cartridge. And the suggested retail price of this game, now mind you, it was 52 games on one Nintendo cartridge, was $200. That is the price of a Super Nintendo at that time. $200 for one game, has 52 games on it. Some people would probably look at that and say, that's a steal. On the game, there's 52 games, clearly. One of those games, at the very end, the final game, is called Cheetahmen. To give you a little bit of background on Cheetahmen, like I said, packaged in with the Action 52, almost call it the new 52, oh boy. Packaged in with the Action 52, this game was created in 1991. There was, at one point, an unpublished sequel for the Nintendo called Cheetahmen 2, and if you go and watch some videos, you'll see that they had repackaged Cheetahmen 2 onto some Action 52 cards. Very rare game, by the way. If you are a video game collector, this is a name you've probably heard of. There was also a Sega Genesis game that was supposed to come out, or actually I think it may have even come out, called the Cheetahmen. And then they were also going to do a 1994 game called Cheetahmen 3 that was supposed to go onto a handheld that Active Enterprises was developing, but never came to see the light of day. So with Action 52 came a Cheetahmen comic. So this is packaged in with the game, and that's what we'll be talking about here in a few minutes. But I want to kind of give you an idea of the Cheetahmen game and what was the concept there. I want to read you the intro to the game. So as you start up Cheetahmen, there's a cutscene of a boy playing a video game. And I'll read it here verbatim. The action game master was at home playing his video game when suddenly an arm reached out of the TV and pulled him inside. When he looked up, he saw 3 gigantic yellow bodies. It was the Cheetahmen. He began to explain. The Cheetahmen told of the enemies here in Game World. Don't worry, we will fight for you. I'm reading this verbatim, by the way. The Cheetahmen run off, and now the Cheetahmen. During this game, you will have 3 Cheetahmen, a different one in every second level to fight for you. That's the intro read. That is the intro to the Cheetahmen game. So there's very much a Captain N kind of idea happening here. Kid's playing a video game, he gets pulled into the video game, and now he's part of that video game world. And I assume that the kid is called the Action Game Master. And I'll tell you why, but just to kind of give you a heads up, the Action Game Master does not show up in the comic. But I thought this was pretty unique in the way that they were going to do this. So the original concept is like the opening of the video game. You get pulled into the game, you are the Action Game Master, and you've got to play all 51 games. And if you defeat, this was the original concept, if you defeated all 51 bosses at the end of each game, then you would unlock the 52nd game on here, which is Cheetahmen. And that's where, of course, the intro to Cheetahmen happens. So my assumption is the story would be like, okay, you played all 51 games, and now you see the cutscene of 52, the 52nd game, Cheetahmen, where that kid, the Action Game Master, is supposed to represent you. And that's where the intro makes a little bit more sense, because you've done all this, and now the Cheetahmen are like, oh, he's clearly the Action Game Master. We need his help. And they pull you in. Now, as you play Cheetahmen, you will face other enemies from the previous 51 games. That definitely supports the concept, but most likely also eased things for the developers as they were just reusing assets that they had already put into the game. But it's kind of a neat meta premise that I definitely dig. Like, oh wow, okay, now you've beat all 51 games. I'm going to be the champion of this 52nd game, Cheetahmen, and you're facing these other enemies from the previous games. That's pretty cool. Now, on the face of it, the idea is great. 52 games and 1 cartridge. Games were running close to $50 a pop back then, sometimes more. Clearly, you're going to get your money's worth here, right? And a game that has the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yes, trust me. In the back of this comic, they are sporting a toy line. They're talking about Cheetahmen on Saturday morning cartoons and on toy shelves. I mean, what investor is going to pass up on this, right? I mean, looks and sounds like a great investment. But wish casting and harsh reality are very, very different things. As they say, wish in one hand and crap in the other, and tell me which one fills up first. Unfortunately, history will remember Action 52 and Cheetahmen as what topped off that other hand. So let's get into the comic here. Let's talk about it. Experience Cheetahmen, the comic, with me as I read through it my first time and tell you what unfolds between these pages.
I say, dear chap, shouldn't you go on a diet?
Are you talking to me? Maybe if these guys would make these holes bigger, I could fit easier, know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I'll help you out.
No worries, no.
Come on, guys, we have work to do. We come from the Action 52 game world where every game is...
Yeah, we're talking action and lots of it. We got space, dragon, adventure, even war games.
Yeah, dude, we even got rescue games, and man, they're smooth like ice.
Hey, what about you guys?
Oh yeah, we're in there too. The Cheetahmen.
Yes, but that's another story. If you want the ultimate game challenge, you have to get Action 52.
Yeah, it's so cool. 52 games in one, and you can even play it on Nintendo. Man, it's awesome. Get yours now.
Now playing at a store near you.
So this is Cheetahmen, and I'm going to probably record a whole separate thing about what I know of this comic. In short, it's a comic based off of a video game. Luckily, they have it on archive.org, the Cheetahmen comic book. So you can check that out for free. Looks like it was produced in 1991, created by Raul Gomila and Vince Perry for Active Enterprises Limited. Story and art by Joe Martinez. And the cover of this is a little strange. We got 3 muscle-bound cheetah men wearing martial arts outfits. One's got a bandana on, brandishing a club. The one in the front has what appears to be like a buzz cut, but he's, big and bulky. And then we have another one on the left-hand side here that has like a crossbow. Above them, there is this insane-looking face of some man who is either horrified or just astounded at what he sees. And behind him, there are 4 different characters. One looks like a human that's on safari, maybe. He has a little safari hat. I can't tell if that is a bear of some sort. Maybe it's another cheetah. I don't know. There's a rhino, has red eyes, and then it looks like a vulture of some sort, some kind of a bird as well. But it makes me think like, okay, we've got the Cheetahmen here. We have a mad scientist who's done something to other animals, and they all look evil to me. That's just the impression I get. Is that what's going to happen in this comic? I don't know. Let's go ahead, turn the page, and get into this real quick and see what is happening. Not a very big comic, only 16 pages long. That's counting the cover, I think. The Cheetahmen. Book 1, The Creation. All right, looks like we have a hunter here by the name of Dr. Morbus, who has shot the mother of these 4 cheetahs. He has got the safari hat looking guy that was on the front cover of this is cheering him on. So Dr. Morbus's pal here is named Cygor, and he's got like this mechanical arm in place of his left arm. They're going to use these 3 cheetahs for an experiment. Okay. Reminiscent of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These things were given some type of serum, and over the course of a few years, they grew into part man, part cheetah. Our first one is named Hercules. Yeah, so he was the one on the front, big, strong guy, big, strong cheetah man. They say he's noble and powerful, but gentle as a lamb. Then we have Ares, super athlete, student of the martial arts. And then Apollo. This is the one with the crossbow. Apollo was the first to become suspicious of the ways of the man who raised them, Dr. Morbus. Oh, wow. So the Cheetahmen have been there for 15 years with Dr. Morbus. Dr. Morbus is like, okay, you guys have been here for 15 years. Now it's time to enact our plans. Go into the village and kill everybody that gets in your way and steal all their food. The cheetah men are like, that seems wrong. I mean, I hate to say this, but if you're an evil scientist, it would make sense to kind of groom your experiments for 15 years so that when it's time to enact your plan, they'll be all right with it. But this must have just come out of nowhere for these Cheetahmen. Like, I could just see Dr. Morbus kind of hanging out and, he's waiting 15 years, everything is hunky-dory, and then all of a sudden he's just like, hey, it's time, guys. I need you to go kill some people. I need you to go steal some things. I'm like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Oh, wow. Isn't killing bad? That is the Cheetahmen asking themselves if killing is bad. And then Apollo, it means to take away life, and it's wrong. I think I've seen a killing once, and then it must have hit him like he just realized it. Dr. Morbus killed our mother. Let's get busy. Oh, boy. Now, the art style in this, I will say, it's not horrible, but you could tell it's definitely an independent feel to it. Well, so they go to confront Dr. Morbus. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, okay, so that was a hyena on the front cover. Behold, my Cheetahmen, your doom. The hyena, white rhino, and scavenger. So he's created some other mutants here. So one of the Cheetahmen says, okay, this is a rallying cry. Let's sink some subs. Okay. And we get a fight. So the Cheetahmen are taking on the Hyena, White Rhino, and Scavenger here, while Dr. Morbus and Cygor watch on. The Hyena can't stop laughing. Okay, so they've made quick work of Dr. Morbus's mutants, and now they're going after Dr. Morbus, who's got a shield around him. Okay, so Dr. Morbus and Cygor escape in a floating force field, and our Cheetahmen have resolved to always fight. Well, it says, it's our duty to protect the world from him and any evil that threatens Earth. And never forget, we are brothers. More than that, we are Cheetahmen. And that is the end of that. Oh, wait a second. Nope. Last page. Full page splash. Cheetahmen. Fist in the air. Living large. Oh, wow. So that is page 14. And we got a couple other pages left. In the back here, we have coming soon to a toy store near you. White Rhino, Scavenger, Cygor, Hyena, the Cheetahmen action figures. Oh, yeah. We're a year outside of the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, so you know that the TMNT figures have been around for a little while. They are probably trying to cash in off of that. Boy, was there a lot of hope here for this franchise. This video game was just absolutely horrid. And there's the other one. Dr. Morbus, Apollo, Hercules, and Ares. Classic action figure line with the figure and weapons. Now, mind you, it was part of Action 52, which was a horrible game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. 52 games, one of which was Cheetahmen, which was the buggiest game ever. You know, it hardly got off the ground. The premise is pretty cool. It has all of the hallmarks of being like a decent game. In the right hands, this concept would have actually done something. But unfortunately, it did not. Cheetahmen. Well, there you go. Thanks for joining us. All of this would not be possible without W2Mnet.com, so make sure to seek them out for more podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please feel free to share, and we look forward to entertaining you again soon.